Mm. Waiting for this to turn on. Should be live any moment now. Any moment now. Do we have any audio? It's a little bit hot here. Any moment now. There we go. All right. So I'm going to do a little bit of co-working. I'm doing a code push for the end of this week, maybe through this weekend, to implement logging for our application. Specifically to be able to log data and then play it back in the simulation. That's, I think, the last major tech feature I need to implement. Just this a little bit. And then it's all the hard pieces will be done. Well, I probably should jinx myself. They're all hard. They're all hard for me. Just this. Keep clipping when I yell or yawn. Let's see. I need to update my live stream. Now streaming, virtual co-working, Javascript. Okay. So what am I doing today? Let me look over here. Okay, let me check this. At some point I do need to go and make these. I need to do all this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to do the coding day thing, and that would be under this project. What's the last thing I did on this? Did they update that? That was January 2nd. I actually did rewrite this. And that seems to work. Is it really the last time I worked on this? January 2nd? Yeah, it is. Alright, so next. January 5th. Thursday. What are we doing today? Here's my next steps from last time. We need to document the display list handshake review, clean up a document, write some pseudocode for implementing the file system features for recording. Well, let's see. Let's start writing the pseudocode now. Let me update my calendar over here, or my task log. Oh, this camera set up wrong. I'm procrastinating. So, anyway, I am going to pseudocode some stuff just to get my head into this. What is pseudocode? Pseudocode is when we are writing in English what's supposed to happen. And alright, so logging. What happens when we do a log? The controlling app starts a new session recording. So what is a session recording? A session recording has the following features. I'm going to look on this side now. I'm going to look at the documentation for that I wrote in the file system. So I'm going to my GitHub, going to our private repo, going to the wiki page, and looking at my file system design. I guess I could have looked at it over here, but let me do that so it's less boring. Oops. The copy and paste doesn't work reliably between the Mac and the PC, unfortunately. That's something that they keep trying to fix for Synergy, which is the software I use to control both the Mac and PC from one keyboard. This wireless jobby. And I'm looking at this file system design. What I'm looking for are this section. We have units, days, curriculums, interactive games, and their variants. This is probably the most pertinent part right here. I'm going to put it up on this other screen. Oops, that's strange. It worked the other way. Where can I stick this? I'm opening up another window here. And just copying that so I have a reference. So over here on this monitor, that's that list I was just looking at. Has those following features. It needs to know the unit name, e.g. states of matter. It needs to know the day, curriculum day. Needs to know the class ID. Day one. Day one material for unit. States of matter. The class ID, class identifier. Since there's multiple classrooms that are running off the same computer. And what's this? The date, I guess. Our file names look like SID path 216 or 2017 0101 001 D1 A1 activity. Activity name, where is that? Oh, wait. We have the curriculum day and then the activity. Day ID. AG. I don't think there's names for them. This is a number. This is an ordinal number. Original? Ordinal. An ordinal. I can't English today. Dates. UYYY. MMDD. Our log files, file names. It doesn't exactly pseudocode. These are data structures right now that I'm working on. What else do we need to know? Starts a new session recording. When the session recording is active, Server is logging all recorded data from all emitting sources. So what does the data format look like? And storing them into the file. These are any Unisys events being emitted and its data. Any log events. I should be able to capture everything. These can be pretty much the raw entry. I think all timestamps are received are based on when the server received them. What is the status of, I'm going to ask about that. I'm just checking the status of the dev account here. Checking mail, nothing, no news on that. And when session is done recording, how is a session recording start determined? When the session is done recording, the server receives a command to stop. This is the pseudocode for recording, or thoughts on it. Not exactly pseudocode yet. Let's call this the workflow, or the logic. Logic for playback would be a sort of mirror. Controlling app requests a list of session recordings for the current. Oh, I guess a list of. The teacher picks a recording to play back, or I guess selects a recording. Teacher can choose to add a description or load it for playback. Now the question is, the server broadcasts a start playback message which tells apps to suspend their live information, live responsiveness. Actually, that's not the case. There should be some sort of flag. Okay, so this is interesting. So we have different kinds of data coming in. And what kinds of data are there? Um, what are the kinds of data? What are the sources and types of live events and data? And do we need to distinguish them? Let me get my list of questions. Playback message. This is also side-by-side playback too. Is that delivery for this? I need to review the spec again. I don't think we put side-by-side for February. The roadmap. July, October. Oh, we don't have anything that goes past that. Let me look over here on our Trello board then. You'll log in. Log in with Google. And let's find this board. What's the delivery here? Side-by-side playback. Alright, the two main things. There's actually quite a lot to do here. I think I'm behind schedule. Well, gonna do a lot in the next 3 weeks. What is the actual delivery date? We update my dev roadmap. Our October or February 2017. And I think there's a different document for that. Docs. Milestones, February 8th. Oops, this copy and paste isn't working the other direction. Annoying. Let's start and stop this. That usually fixes it. I think it breaks when the computer goes to sleep. Goal. February 8th, that's when they're doing the study. And what are the features of this study? I guess this is everything that has to happen on that date. There's the activity grid. So the specific features, let me write. We need to annotation on live drawing. Oops, that's wrong. Web video. Annotation. Annotation on web video. This is day 1. Annotation on live drawing. Let's see. Marker annotation on playback. What else do they need to do? How does playback work? Record, then playback simulation. I guess the question is, what does that mean? Here's the workflow. Teacher makes assignments. Identify iPads and assign them. That's going to be a significant interface. That means I need to get my device ID interface for it. There's a lot of shit to do here for this. Most of this is particle, no drawing mark state. That's not under me. Bedded particles, slider mark, body 1, side by side playback. When does this work? It seems in body 1s. What are we doing with the side by side playback? I guess we just play side by side playback. Alright, I think that's user interfaces for all. So I'm trying to make, now that I've looked at that, let me look at my continuity notes again. Yes. Let's write down our workflow. Workflow visualization. So I'm going off of like this document here. Basically, I'm reading how this happens. Yeah, talk through this. So, okay, I'm a teacher giving a presentation. I'm using this, I'm going blah, 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 blah. Here's the laptop. And the first day, we're going to play back first, day 1. Stream an experiment, or actually, perform a live experiment. Perform a live experiment while recording the video so everyone can see it. Then we want to, how does this annotation work? Play back the video on main and iPads. First of it. Pass out iPads and register them to the system somehow, giving them names. Play back the video on main and the iPads. Students get to annotate what's going on using the tools on top of the live playback. Clicking buttons, drawing, or marking up stuff. At end of session, teacher plays back the video again, but also can side by side select from a number of different iPad sources. So I think actually this has ramifications for the logging format. The logging format includes all devices. I think I said that actually. That's a lot of data from all devices. We'll just have to see how well it works. Huh. Since, oh no, this pushing does work on links the video can side by side select from a number of different iPad sources. Can pause the playback, resume it, jump around. That's a development goal. Random access on playback. Now, I guess the question is, playback doesn't have to happen on... Oops, that's not the wrong place. Why does this keep jumping to the front? Is there a way to make this remember where it was? Editor, scroll past end. Swipe to change layout, no. I guess there's nothing I can do about that. Does command down arrow work? Nope. Over here, okay. Jump around. This is on the main screen only. Jump around. So I guess the question is, how do you select the activity for the day? Reviewing the workflow goals for Feb 8. A lot to do. Making some assumptions about selection UI. UI that are dependent on the day activity workflow. Is there a place that shows what the startup app control app looks like for selecting day activity? So how does how does a session, in other words, I'm wondering how a session begins, how a class begins, goes through the activities, and then ends. Add that to my questions list. How do you go from one activity to the next? How do you end the activity for the day? I I think maybe, and the reason I'm concerned about this is whether or not this affects the way I'm recording data, but I think the key issue is being able to grab the logged events and figuring out which ones, workflow-wise. Who capture and play back data for one screen, for one display. How to capture for side by side. That's actually, occurs to me, that's actually kind of a big deal. And then there's things like how to annotate. That's not actually working yet, so actually I think that's sort of working. We just need to make sure that it plugs in. It might be easier than I think. I'm expecting difficulties though. Side by side is probably the biggest challenge. Because that means there's two renderers, or I need to manage two render instances. Can I even do that? This is something I don't know. How to do the side by side. This is a contemplating question. I should look at that actually next. So I'm going to finish looking at the logging format now. Alright, so I'm going to say pseudocode / think through. I spent about 30 minutes on that. It's 13:45, let's say. Let's review our logging code from before, which means I need to actually load the program up or something. Go here, here, there, here. Let me close some of these windows. Don't need to look at these even right now. Let me load up source tree to make sure I don't screw anything up. And I am on display list. Should I commit this now? Not yet. I wanted to do some cleanup on that first. So there's some stuff in dev though. Let's pull that down. Let's just update it and fast forward it, hopefully. What's new in this? That's all redundant related stuff. And here's his current particle, his current branch. Let's pull that down and shouldn't be any changes to my code. Let's go back to display list. And did I lose? No, we still got the mic. Paranoid about losing the microphone. Okay. So I haven't modified anything, it looks like. That's good. Now, where is this logging code? This ancient logging code. Here's the legacy commands for it. Logging code. How did I used to do this? There's a whole bunch of functions I had. Play log. Alright, this uses something called a liner. Record file. Alright, so the old logging code worked like this. Record file created a writer instance. A writer file stream. A global. If it existed, then the logger would write to it as well. Would write any data, or let's see, then it was used to write stuff to. Play log accepted a file name and a WebSocket. It created a reader file stream. And this recorded specifically, it just wrote specifically, it wrote ptrack data only. So what does this do? Looking over here now. I created something called a liner, and it piped. Okay, unreadable. Let's set immediate. I don't think that exists anymore. Might have to look at an old build of this. Let's do that. And we will do this by opening up a new Sublime window. Project, this is an old project, so let's look at their old project. Why don't we? I think that's dev step. And I want to move this over here. Did it work? So I want to make its own window. So this is the old ink sim. Don't need any of these. Don't save. Don't save. Don't save. Here's my login code review. I believe this was working code, but we will find out. Mostly I'm just trying to figure out how I approach the saving of the timestamped information, because that was a pain in the butt to figure out. I think it was income, maybe? Yeah, this looks like it. What was the set immediate, though? There's 3 instances of it. Oh, where'd it go? Ah. Find set immediate. Was it a function I defined, or was it like some built-in thing? I see 1, 2. There's only 3 instances of it. Where is this? Set immediate. What is set immediate? Is that like a JavaScript function? Windows set immediate. No, it's a timer. I don't remember this being a function. Is it set immediate? Okay. Anyway, down here, play check line. Oh, okay, that's a, where's that defined? Probably, no, I don't see it. Is play check line a function? It is, okay. Oh, that's what I'm doing. All right. Set immediate function. Set immediate function args, where args is equal to, what are my args? Delay to number, optional params to pass when it's called. I didn't realize, is there a browser version of set immediate? I was not actually aware that there was such a thing. I guess there is. This is to break up long-running operations and run a callback function immediately after the browser has completed other options. So this allows it to wait a tick, I think. So set immediate is a timer function. Before I'd use set timeout and set interval. But set immediate is, this is used for co-processing. Which is important for this kind of thing. Notes. There's a command similar to set interval and set timeout. Used to run a function, then do a callback. I use it occasionally to defer execution a function by an internal tick of the process or the JavaScript execution. Or that's what I think I'm doing. I think is happening. Okay. Anyway, so I'll go to the review. Record file does that. Play log creates a reader file stream. This is piped into something called a liner, and I believe liner was, what does this do? It creates a, this is another stream handler, I think, which is a stream transform object. And its intention is data is equal to chunk. So it receives a chunk if this last data line data plus data line split. It creates looks like a buffer for each of this push bind. You have this last line data. This line data plus data. won't. All right, so what's happening is this function object. So it creates a new object. Last line data. If this exists, then it adds data. The data it gets is this plus whatever data came in. Okay. And then it splits it. And then it saves the last line data. So this is basically a buffer. I'm sure this is named in a good way. Lines, splice lines, length minus 110. This last line data, I think what this is doing, I should look this up. Alright, so there's two elements, there's data and lines. I'm guessing that splice returns the end. So like if it's not getting a complete line in, it won't actually end up with partial lines. Let's take a look at that. Lines is what? It's a array function. Array splice. No, that makes no sense. No, actually that does make sense. The last lines. This push bind. What is that doing? For each line, what is this in this case refers to the object liner. Oh wait, or no, maybe it doesn't. Liner, this may refer to the line array. But what does bind do? That's weird. I don't understand what this is doing. And that calls done. This might refer to the stream, actually. And if it's flush of this last line, this push, this last line data. Is liner a stream accept a push? Stream push. Yeah, there is something called a push. What does this do? What do you use this for? So what I think it does is this adds a feature to, well, the liner, this is a kind of stream. It creates a line-based file stream. Oh, my pizza is ready. I was ready to start pizza-ing. Let's take a pizza break. Get out of this. Review logging code. It's about, let's call this 14 o'clock. So I've only been spending 15 minutes on this so far. But we must eat. I guess I could break the stream anyway. Let's see. I can be thinking about this while I'm making the pizza. I'll move this camera over here. Should be long enough. Cats are running away in fear. This nice long cable. Kitchen's in a mess. Have not mopped it in a while. Because I am a dude and I live in filth. But let's get some lights on. I'll go back over there and set up the camera. Why is this not so... Oh, it's not broiling. This is going to be a this might not be hot enough now. I didn't put the oven on broil. What's the temperature? It's quite low. This might not be very good pizza. Maybe we'll let that go for another 15 minutes to actually get it to the temperature it needs. Alright, I'll just leave that camera there since it's not really doing anything. Alright, so let's continue this. So, okay, I'm going to just assume that works. This creates a line-based file stream. And what are we doing with the file stream? Here, what's this token? I don't remember using a token. P-track playback button. Recreate file stream, make the liner. Find a kind of liner, which is a stream transfer. It creates a line-based file stream that emits readable events. When a line is ready. Okay. So here's the logic. On readable, what we're doing is we're grabbing, oops, did someone say something? On the readable event, I did all this fancy like time-based stuff. Not sure if it's really clear though. If reader start time is equal to 0, let's make a list of variables. Reader start time. HRT now. Unreadable. What are we doing? Check that reader start time is 0, which means check that, make sure we're not already play back a stream. And if we're not, process HRT. HRT means what? This is a bad variable name. Now, okay, it's that might be heartbeat time. What is process HRT? It's like high performance timer, maybe? Why am I getting hormone replacement therapy? This is, let's see. I guess I would have to put JavaScript in front of that. Okay, process. HRT. What is HRT? Returns a high resolution time. This is a high process. HRT is equal to high resolution real time. Seconds, nanoseconds. Tuple. You can also diff. And now is time in seconds. Is that right? Yeah. Fractional time in seconds. Set the reader start time This is so reader start time, starting time use of playback used to offset. Calculate offsets. Set the reader start time to current time in seconds. Call directly call set immediate or play check line. Play check line through set immediate. That was just to give this file system some time to do stuff. So this only should execute on the first. I'm not sure if that's the best way to do this. Note, this runs on the first readable event, and the code executes and kicks off play check line later. Readable events are ignored thanks to the conditional check. And then play check line. I think this just recurses. So we're doing the same process. If reader start time is not equal 0, make sure we're actually reading a stream, and the WebSocket is defined. Also used as a flag to indicate we're actually reading stream. Time offsets. Should be named a little bit. Actually reading a stream, reader start time 0. Make sure that we're actually reading a stream, then what happens? Get the current time in seconds from process HR time. Now, there's another variable called the reader trigger time. Reader trigger time. I am pretty sure this is, then there's a current line. Current line through parsed. It parsed from JSON. We're saving JSON, I guess. It's all JSON format. I'm not sure that will work for us, but reader current. If reader trigger time, make sure that. All right. There's two. I'm using early returns in this structure. For the first line, reader trigger time is equal to 0. We want to set some variables or set some state. Read the first line from liner, parse into reader current. If reader current is not undefined, then we can grab the headers from it. Or grab data from it easily. The data we are reading is header stamp. This is ptrack data. Timestamp. And sec. Timestample. Set reader trigger time to the new timestamp. Oh wait, no. To reader starts time plus TNS. Start time plus TNS. Plus the timestamp. Where is it actually playing back though? Oh, okay. If reader current header stamp and then it calls call play check line. Play check line again. Then exit. If reader current, oops, let's call this is not is defined rather than is not undefined. Is not is undefined. Then it's the end of the file. Close reader. Reset reader start time to 0. Send code.trim. Oh, that's what the token is. Send a signal to command socket to indicate something's happened. Get it closed. Exit. If reader trigger time, wait a moment. So there's just two things happening here. The first time, this playback complete message is probably not quite right. Note. Then the file is empty. Was empty. That probably should be a different command. Rewrite this. So if this is the first line, so system state liner, what's it, parse, liner read, grab the first line, exit if the first line processed. If this was not the first line, we're just processing lines. All right, pizza time. Hey. What time is it? It's 4:23. Let's call this, not 4:23, it's 2:23. So that's 14:23. Let's call it 14:15. And this will be our lunch break. Let me go to full screen on here. I just turned off my time sheet for this. Hopefully the oven is preheated again appropriately. What's going on down here? I just kind of had to eyeball this. Oops. So what do we got? I'm preheating my pizza steel. It's more like 480 degrees. It's absorbed a lot of heat over the past hour of heating up. And then over here, we will do the pizza itself. And for that, I need to shape this dough. I'm not sure if I'm showing it correctly. This probably needs to angle down a bit more. Who does really see it? All right, so that looks okay. It's still a little wet. Let's throw some flour on that. Turn my hands off them again. While I'm at it, let me pull out all the pizza making stuff. We got this. We got, where's all the rest of the cheese? I guess there's a new pack of cheese. We got this, so we got this. And that's going to be the top. This is the bottom. All right. So I'm still learning how to do this right. And let's punch out some of the air bubbles so they don't bulge up. And I'm not going to shape this really carefully, but I'm going to try to define the edge a bit. dough has been kind of resting for, I guess, about 3 hours. Seems really good. I'm not doing this right, but I'm hungry and I just want to eat something. Alright, so that's going on. Let's kind of stretch this into shape. I'm going to need some more flour. The idea is just to make this fairly thin. I like a thin pie. And to keep it kind of uniform. So I'm just going to kind of hold this, kind of looking through it. It's not the right way to do it. But as I manipulate with my hands, it warms up a bit. Stretching it from this outer side. I don't know if this is showing it. I'm kind of inspecting it to see how thin it is. So it's kind of overly thin in places. This is why this is not going to be a really great pizza, but it might be alright. This is just supermarket dough. So that's kind of round. Let's transfer to this. Use some cornmeal. These will act as like just as a way of allowing the pizza to move around. So I can slide it off this thing. Oops. Try to get that on there so it's round again. We'll just redo this. This probably won't hurt. That part's kind of stretchy. Dough is an interesting thing. It's kind of alive. Pinch out the bubbles. So those will just rise. So it's in place. Let's make sure it moves. Open up this pizza sauce. Oh, cut this open. So this is, again, part of my... been learning how to make... just to make, I guess, throw the pizzas, or whatever this process is called. To shape them, I guess. I guess you can call that. But I haven't been making my own ingredients. Not making my dough, not making the pizza sauce, not being very selective about the cheese. The mechanical process of making this, that's what I'm focusing on. Careful to ladle this out. Don't want to get it across the edge, because then it will, if it gets on this board, when I try to slide it off, it'll stick, and the pizza will dump unceremoniously onto the pizza steel. And that would be disaster. So I don't like a lot of sauce. Okay, that's good enough. Throw this back. Now we've got this pack of supermarket brand mozzarella cheese. And I spread it very evenly. Just dump some on there and then kind of push it out. Don't want a whole lot. I guess I could use more than that. That does seem a little thin. I should weigh this out and see how much cheese I'm actually putting on here. I have no idea how many calories are in this thing. Probably a whole lot. That looks alright. And for the finishing touch, some very unimpressive store pepperoni. Two, three, four, five, 6, 7. All right, that's almost ready to go. Let's make sure it still moves. Uh-oh, there it goes. Switch the camera over here. Well, the first thing I had to do is set this timer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. That's unbroil, that's unbroil. Now we will put the pizza into the oven, onto that pizza steel. Waggle it back and forth, and pull it out. Now, start the timer. For this small pie, I want that to be under the broiler for about 90 seconds. So when the timer counts to, the 3-minute, 30-second mark, that's when I want to change. I guess I can show people. So we're waiting for this to get to the 3-minute 30 mark. So while this is happening, I might as well think about my coding stuff. So I need to be able to write timestamped data that's coming in. And I need to write everything that needs to be displayed. So I could log all Unisys messages that are coming across. I'm a little concerned about how much data is coming in, but maybe it won't be so bad. And maybe I only certain ones need to be ran. So that's any state change stuff. I guess I'll make it a different version of the call or a flag in the call, so when people are saying the data, the Unisys will know which things to log. But I'll have to make a call graph. Oop, that's 30. Okay, so now once that's done, then I had to drop this down to 425. So the first burst of the under the broiler under high is to just kind of get the top hot enough so it can start to brown. And then the last 3 minutes under the lower temperature is to finish cooking the pie. Because I don't want the burners on, because he'll burn the heck out of it. So after this should be done. We have 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. So continuing on my thought about the timer stuff, I have to, well, I guess that will just be an implementation detail. I just want to finish reviewing the playback stuff, then port that to the new code base, patch Unisys so I can write the data, and then I can inspect it. And then playing it back, I'm not sure how that's going to work. I can at least initiate the playback call and have it start emitting. But what really drives the display in here? We have ptrack data, which we will log the same way. Annotation data, I guess. We also need to save the display list. That's the last part. That's the part I wrote. Yeah, and we already have the display list saved stuff. So theoretically, wait a moment. We don't need to log ptrack data because the display list is already doing. We're not having the ability to Yeah, we just need to save the display list data actually, and any other designated events. That's related to annotation. So if I just get the playback to work, that's a good start. And then the rest of the integration can happen when the team gets back together and we merge all our work. So we get playback working. If I get that working, then I can go looking at the side-by-side playback and see if I can play two streams back side to side, and that would be a good technical test. And that should be hopefully doable at the end of this week. Yeah, it may not be so bad. Oh, who's outside? I don't know. Who's that? Just looking outside. 30 seconds to go. Let's get this ready. Position that down. Hopefully that's a good angle. Maybe not. Hopefully it's a good enough. Set 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bing! That doesn't look like it's really cooked well. It's a little bit light. I gotta leave that in a little bit longer. Broil. It was a little bit close to the edge. Maybe it didn't heat enough. I also left it on broil instead of putting it to bake. 5 minutes is not bad, though, for a pie in the oven. I do want a little bit more color on it, though. You can see that the top elements have, like, they're dark because they've cooled down considerably. Yeah, I just want a little more color on that. It's a little under baked looking. You can add like a crunchy pie. Usually 5 minutes does it. It's not bad. Does seem a little underbaked. That's odd. Usually this is dialed right in. See if I can bring the camera down so you can see what's going on. Drop the camera. See if we can get this a little closer. Oh! And I can just drop it down like this, I guess. Don't melt the camera. Or the cord. Okay, pie. Why is the broiler not turning on? I've noticed it's been acting really slow lately. I wonder if it's defective. Could be on its last legs. That's a little bit disturbing. Let's pull this out of the way in case this melts. Yeah, it's not like heating up at all. Did I break it? Or it's just slow to heat up? Something is not right about this. Let's unbroil. It's possible that my oven is dying. I guess go pull it out. The top is not. I need to replace that element. That's upsetting. Anyway, there it is. It's not quite hot. Not enough. Maybe it's some sort of protection circuit cut in. Yeah, this is not. It's supposed to look better than this. I feel I failed. I failed pizza-ness. But, yeah, this is soft. This is not the way it's supposed to be. Let's check the bottom. Bottom is kind of brown. That's all right. I usually like a little browner, but I don't think I preheated it enough. That's all right. The dough is kind of old too, so maybe that's an issue. Anyway, I'm gonna eat 2 of these slices. I'll take one of these and one of these. Hopefully I haven't killed my oven. I should be able to find replacement stuff for it though. Let's move this back. Get back to the code. Hopefully this camera was working all that time. Looks like it was. All right. Here's my water. Last 32 ounces of the day. Move this out of the way a bit so I can eat. So this is the me eating stream, I guess. All right. How does it taste? Not great. Maybe I shouldn't have punched down the dough. Like looking at the structure here, it's like a little bit flat, but this dough is actually several days old. It's past its prime. And the top, they're not brown. Didn't get the temp quite as fast as it should have. I'm going to put this. I'm turning off this mic for a second so I don't have to like chew directly into the thing. Do the mounted microphone. So it sounds a little different. It took 30 minutes. The other half of the pizza I'll save for later. I've been trying to test the resilience of this pizza to being eaten cold. Then I wish I had a Coke. Do I have anything to drink? I do have that Korean coffee. They have these Korean stick coffee things. It's basically just a instant coffee with cream and sugar in it, or non-dairy creamer, I should say. All right. coffee and pizza might be a bad idea. I'm trying to hork this thing down so I can get back to work. Because in about an hour I need to head out to do some errands before some places close. Not the best pizza. What? Actually pretty comparable to what I could get if I went and bought some. This will definitely be on the lower end of the scale though. Because the dough is just like kind of, it feels slightly underbaked. Maybe after shaping it I should have let the dough rest somewhere. To regain some structure. But it doesn't feel like it's sprung up as much as it should have. Again, dough is a mysterious thing. It's live. There's so many variables. What temperature it's at, how you handle it. You know, I'm still learning all that stuff, which is why I'm not worrying about ingredients. By using the supermarket ingredients, I'm guaranteeing a kind of consistency. It's the same dough mix, although there's variables in that too. How old the supermarket dough is, whether it was, I guess they ship it frozen too, and that thaws out. And then how many days it's been in my refrigerator. This is the part I can't get consistent. The toppings, they all taste pretty good. But getting consistently good crust. I mean, like a I might have to start learning to read the texture of the crust of the dough. You know, how elastic it feels, how cold it is, and then adjust my cooking on that. Because there is no, you know, it might depend on the room temperature, how long it's been out, how long it's been allowed to rise. So this dough I would have characterized as being maybe a little under risen. It seemed a little not as alive. So if you have dough like that, maybe you need to let it sit before you put the sauce on it, just so it puffs up a bit. I may have overhandled the dough. The oven itself might be a problem now. It is acting weird. It might be time to replace that element. All right. All right, this is back on. Let me put this stuff away. Hey, cat. All right, where were we? What time is it now? It's 2:51. Since I stopped logging early, I will just rename this. I'll say I start at 2:45. Resume logging. Code review. All right, and I want to spend about, what time is it now? I want to spend about 15 to 30 minutes on this. So I'm going to set this timer. 15 minutes. Just to keep aware of time, because I tend to lose track of time all the time. There we are again. again. Where did I leave off? Exit. If this was not the first line, we're looking down here. If this was not the first line, these are related. 1, 2, we're processing in the throes of processing lines. And so what happens over here? It checks to see. All right. So this is called every frame. Note, this is called quite a lot. Over and over again until the stream runs out of data. Processes a line, then waits a tick through the set immediate call. On itself. We're in the throes of processing lines. Each pass through gets the current time through process HR time. So what do we do here? Check the current time against reader trigger time. Where does reader trigger time set? Reader trigger time is the time the next event happens. If this is the time that the next queued event should fire. Oh, that's interesting. If send the JSON version of the line on the WebSocket, then reset reader trigger. Oh, okay. They always trigger always trigger set immediate play check line to force it to keep going. Note the exit condition is handled in keep going until all lines are read. So it looks like reader trigger time is one of the key. If reader trigger time 0 if another line should be read. So this is like actually a pretty important. I think one thing about this code is that it's reusing variables to indicate state, which is maybe a little confusing. But I guess this would generally work. Okay, so anyway. That's the notes for this. Let me put this into here. Design playback. Design playback. What is still over here? So I'm just copying these notes into this in order to find them later. What's going on here? I'm sure this is going to look right. Actually, I can start converting this into record file. Find a WebSocket, creates a reader file stream, the liner. Logic. Oops, I can't do that way. No, this is maybe not necessary to do this kind of documentation update. But I'm fussy about these kind of things, so. When I had to review this later, I'm thinking it will save me some time. Key variables. I think that should indent. Good. Unreadable. Function play check line. Oops. It's like formatting this, browse away through process HR time. This is the logic. Okay. If and if wait, is that right? It's generally the right idea. Ah. What happened here? All right. What's the reference for this file? This is in util logger, the step. This is based on the old ptrack logging code in the step project in what was it called? I already forgot. Util logger. Util dash logger? Util dash logger JS. I think I was in the server. Util logger. Where is this? Lib util logger. Why is I seeing? Oh wait, this is the wrong one. It's node incom. Server node incom. Node incom. Oops, forgot to. Will that work? All right, so we are documented. That's good enough. So I should remember how this works now. Maybe a little typo there. But let's see, it's 15:05. Let's call that 15 o'clock. And that has laid the basis of the next bit of work. It's only been an hour and a quarter, but I'm going to go run some errands now and then come back and do another session. But before I do that, I should write update my journal here. What did I do? Documented this. I did review the file system doc. Let's see. That's the 15-minute mark. Let's turn these into checkable boxes. Oh, what had happened? It did something. What is that? I don't remember doing that. Did I do that? Implement Express Web Service. Oh, I did do that, yeah. And this was the data was return display list data. Well, this is the stuff. So what did I do? reviewed the old, or wrote a spec, wrote some preliminary spec or workflow, checked deliverable for Feb 8. See, what was that? I put it in the dev roadmap. See, dev roadmap. Then I reviewed the old line-based save and playback code for reuse in the new system. Document on wiki. Alright. So we kind of started doing this. So the next step, I'm going to get rid of that. This is just going to happen. We're in the deep of the next steps. What do I want to do next? We are doing this now. And we are going to do what? Specific goals. I want to write specific goal. Next. There's a couple of things I can do. I can try to, let's just write a test file based on a Unisys start, record, start, record, end. Oops, I can't do this. Record, start, record, end. Message. Then I guess that's plenty. That's what I'll do next. We had to adapt this old code too. And the reason why I reviewed the old code is that there's some trickiness about when you're reading a file, when you start it, when you start reading, when you end reading it. You know, like that code is debugged. Because like the time, it's been debugged and been refined down, so there's not a whole lot of checking. As maybe overly clever the code is about reusing variables to mean two things. If I document that correctly, it shouldn't be a problem. And then that code should just work. I should just be able to write to it and read to it and not worry about anything else. Then there's the matter of the data format that's written. And I'll have to resolve all those things as I just play with this. So this could be a multi-day task. And now it's 3:11. So no doubt I'll be thinking about this a little bit in the car, so I'm going to update my timestamp to this. And I am going to call this for now, and hopefully I'll be back later if I have the energy to go through this. But I'm going to have to find the energy to get all these features done. So thanks for watching. Hope you're getting work done, and I'll see you soon.